To begin, turn your sketchbook horizontally. Start on the left side and measure down 6 inches. And then move your ruler over towards the right side of the paper and measure down from the top 6 inches. This is where our horizon line will be. Line up your ruler with both of those measurements and make a line that is 12 inches long. This is our horizon. Once you've done that, draw your vanishing points at the very ends of the horizon line. We're going to begin by drawing the front corner of the house, and we're going to measure over 5 inches from the left along the horizon. Line your ruler up so that it's vertical, and the 1.5 inch mark is aligned with the horizon. And that line is going to be 3.5 inches long. So it's 3.5 inches long, 1.5 inches of it is above the horizon. Just like we always do in 2-point perspective, connect the top and bottom of that vertical line to both vanishing points. Once we've drawn those perspective lines, we now need to add a vertical line to the left-hand side and then a vertical line to the right-hand side between our perspective lines to create the far left and far right corners of the house. You can kind of guesstimate on this. Take a moment to erase the extra converging lines that go beyond the house to the vanishing point. The next thing we'll do is add the second story of the house, which is slightly smaller but slightly taller than the first story. So beginning at the bottom of the house on the right-hand side, draw a vertical line that goes from the bottom of the house up above the first story. I went about 1.25 inches or so above the first story. Connect the top of that line to both vanishing points, and then come to the far right side and extend that corner of the house up to hit the perspective line, and then come in from the left-hand side slightly and draw a vertical line up. The second story is shorter than the first story, and so we need to show on that far left side that it does not proceed towards the vanishing point quite as far as the first story of the house does. Move is to make the roof. We have to find the center of this tall part on the right-hand side of the house, and we do that by connecting diagonal corners to create an X. The center of that X is the center of that part of the wall. We're going to extend a vertical line up high enough so that it goes above the wall and will be the peak of the roof. Now, you need to make that line long enough that when we connect it to the left vanishing point eventually, it's going to show the roof line. Show the shingles. I'm first connecting the peak of the roof to the front and far right corners of the house. And then I'm taking the peak of the roof to my left vanishing point. To finish the roof off, I'm connecting the far left corner of the house to the roof at the same angle as the front of the roof. The back angle and the front angle of the roof should be parallel to each other. Take a moment to erase any extra line work that you have that is unnecessary. I've got a small line over here that extends from my roof over to the vanishing point on the left that I can erase. We will extend the porch off of the front of the house. So we're going to extend that from the left vanishing point lined up with the left side of the house, and then determine how tall we want that porch to be. I'm coming up about 1 inch from the bottom of the house. Once again, we're extending from the left vanishing point. And now I'm going to connect those two perspective lines together with a vertical line. That is the side of our porch. Now let's take the bottom of that vertical line over to the right vanishing point. Now the top of that vertical line to the right vanishing point, and that's going to create the front of our porch. And then finally, the back corner of our porch that connects to the house will go to the right vanishing point, and I'm dragging that along the front of the house. And it's very important right now that we erase any extra lines. These are lines that are covered by our porch. This will help us see where the porch exists and to help us not be distracted by unnecessary lines. As I erase those lines, it should make the box of the porch feel more solid and physical. We have 2 more lines to draw for our porch. One is going to come from our left vanishing point and line up with where the porch attaches to the house on the far right side. This is kind of a confusing little area, so please make sure you pause and rewatch this part of the video if necessary. Then finally, we will draw a vertical line that comes down from where the perspective lines intersect on the far right and the top edge of our porch. The last thing we'll do for today is draw the doorway on the left-hand side of the house that leads out to the pool. We're going to start with the vertical line that goes from the bottom of the left side of the house, but not quite to the horizon line. Connect that to the left vanishing point. And then we'll draw another vertical line down for the far left side of that doorway. Now this doorway cuts into the wall, so we're going to come to the bottom left corner of that doorway, connect it to the right vanishing point, and drag into the doorway or into the house. We're now going to draw a vertical line up to the top of that doorway, and then connect the bottom interior corner of the doorway to the left vanishing point and drag back across the building or back across the ground. When I erase the line that used to be the bottom of the wall in that area, I should be able to see that it creates kind of a cutout in that wall, something that looks like a doorway.